Alright, finally heard that track with Smiley and Drake and like half of Certified Lover Boy. And let me tell you, I want to see Drake in a wheelchair. I hope he never walks again. But in all seriousness, I did finally want to watch Degrassi. I feel like Degrassi's always been like referenced in songs and it's almost a part of culture or whatever. I just wanted to see what the hype was about. So I watched the first season of Degrassi, The Next Generation. And spoiler alert, okay, so there's a couple shows that came before The Next Generation. This was sort of a reboot, but Degrassi Junior High and Degrassi High were both shows that came before it. In the first episode of The Next Generation, there's sort of like a reunion episode in the first one. I think it's calling back to I think some of the older castmates of before come back as their older forms. Some of them as teachers, some of them as parents. It doesn't really matter. They do not play a role in the show at all. I think it's just for fans. But coming into this, I thought this was gonna be like a family show. I mean, it's TV PG, like it's rated PG. It's not supposed to be wild, but it's pretty wild. So our main character is Emma. She's a environmental vegan girl. She's talking to this guy online, and she's never met him. But the person sent a picture, and he seems like a 16-year-old boy. But then her friends are like, you probably shouldn't be doing this, meeting up with him. And the guy wants to meet up with her, and her friends tell her not to. But her mom, she gives some of the worst advice ever. And the advice is to follow your heart. Even if your friends tell you not to do something, like even if they tell you don't be with someone, you should still be with them. She obviously didn't know. Anyways, there's a whole B storyline where the parents are having a reunion, but I don't think it leads into anything, at least not for the whole season 1. The parents go off to the reunion, and she gets an opportunity to go on a date at a hotel. A little sus. She goes to the hotel, and a grown man acts as a teacher of the student that she's supposed to be going on a date with. She's supposed to be meeting up with Jordan, and he says that he's Jordan's teacher. He says that they're on a class field trip. Yo, why does this guy have one box of pizza? There's so many like sus moments. Like, how many students does he have for one box of pizza? Like, are these just for the special needs students? Yo, cut that out. Is he gonna cut them all up into like tiny little pieces? I mean, this guy just likes everything small, doesn't he? But anyways, her friends realize something's wrong. She's not answering her phone, and they suspect something. So they hack into her email to try to find out what's happening, where she is, and they get the parents' help, and they go and save her. But I kind of want to play out the scene, because like this one scene is where it starts to go like just wild, like because like he has this video camera and like to document the trip. A little sus. He even has like a tripod and everything. But then Emma finally realizes what's happening, and she runs to the bathroom and locks the door. But then the guy acts like he's leaving, letting her go, and then this happens.
Noise, and I tape your mouth. And I don't think you'd want that. You smell.
This scene is an uncomfortable amount of minutes. It goes way too long. Because I don't know if you guys realize this, they actually had to shoot this. This poor little girl. And this grown ass man had to get like that close to her. It's very wild. Canadians are wild. But like, this scene is crazy, especially the camera shot. This is so uncomfortable. I don't know how the hell this is rated PG. But eventually, her mom and her teacher comes to the rescue. All is well. But it's clearly a wild show. It's clearly wild. And obviously the message here is to not trust strangers online. It's pretty interesting looking back on it, and nowadays we have Tinder and all this, and we constantly meet people online. It's regular. It's pretty crazy how like taboo it seemed back then and how like almost normal it is today. I don't know. But like, from a story's perspective, it just like happens for almost no reason. Like, I don't think it affects her character in any real way, at least not in the first season. Stuff just be happening, like things just happen in the show for like no reason. It is wild for no reason. Episode 3, nothing really happens. Episode 4 is pretty weird because this one girl, Terry, is a little bit bigger than everyone else. She's not as skinny as all the other girls, and she's a little insecure about it. But like, it's done very bad in this show because a guy that she likes literally asks her, but she's still like insecure because she doesn't think she could get it. It doesn't make sense. Like, it really doesn't make that much sense. But the B story is pretty wild. The two nerdy characters, Toby and JT, they find some URLs or some QR codes, I think, some codes to see porn, and I don't know why, but they want to watch it together. So like, you watching porn with the homies. I wonder where he got that idea from.
Are you seriously watching porn by yourself?
Nah, I'm with my
Anyways, by the end of it, their parents catch them and they all watch it together. Yeah, to like teach them a lesson or I don't, bro, this show is wild. Like, the show wants to have clear cut messages, but like, I don't, bro, it's wild. Why are you watching porn with your kid? Anyways, I thought episode 5, Parents' Day, was a pretty good episode just because Toby's like kind of embarrassed of his parents. Like, that's what it seems like at first, but doesn't want his parents to be in the same room. They always fight, and like, I thought it was a good episode for kids of divorced parents. It's an actually good episode. Clear message, everything. Surprisingly liked it. He blames himself for everything, and it's a little self-destructive. And yeah, at the end of it, the teacher sees this and speaks to him. It's a pretty good episode all around. Oh yeah, I want to clarify. The reason I'm almost wanting or expecting clear-cut messages is because this show is aimed at preteens and teenagers, so I feel like they could easily get confused with this kind of stuff. But like, that's just my opinion. I don't know. Episode 6, The Mating Game, we finally meet Drake. His name is Jimmy in the show, and his girlfriend, Ashley, they're having their 8-month anniversary, and they just have a sex ed thing, kind of wondering if they should have sex or not. And Paige, she's like the cheerleading type, and she basically makes her jealous, and they're about to have sex, but she realizes she isn't ready. It's a fine episode. Episode 7, my boy, Drake gets his own episode, Basketball Diaries. Jimmy really wants to make the basketball team, and Sean is better than him, so he decides to take his friend's drugs to be better at the game.
I did half a Zan, 13 hours till I land,
and he does become better at the game, but he becomes a ball hog, and he's always taking the ball. He literally steals the ball from his own teammate to make a game-winning shot, but the coach sees this and he's like, yo, you can't just shove your teammates. And that's about it. It just kind of ends there. Oh yeah, he gets cut from the basketball team. But like, I didn't like this episode just because like, it doesn't have a clear message. Jimmy was feeling pressured, so he did drugs. Everything worked in his favor. Too good. The message that drugs are too good for you. I mean, they could have wrote it differently, but whatever. Not the only time drugs come up. This show loves to tackle taboo subjects, and I think what makes it interesting and like kind of good is how raw it is. I think people really like the show and like are nostalgic about it because of how all these actors are playing their age, and it makes it really raw. Like, it's not like some 20-something-year-olds playing a character, and it's not like just very dumb. It feels, I don't want to say realistic, but like it works better. Like, that first episode was uncomfortable and weird. Episode 8, Secrets and Lies. Ashley, Drake's girl, and she's like a smart girl. She's kind of perfect. Her biological father finally comes back into town, and she finds out the real reason why he left, and it's because he's gay, which it's pretty crazy that a show from 2001 was tackling this. They did handle it kind of funny. They made it almost seem like a heart attack, like an illness. And she kind of doesn't like him for it. The way they handle it is pretty funny because Terry says that her mom dies and that at least you have a parent and you have the choice, so you shouldn't cut him out of your life. They basically said, even though he's gay, at least he's alive. He's better than dead. Not the best way of handling it, but it's still pretty progressive for like 2001. Like, some crazy jokes were still going back then. Canadians really are just like way ahead of us. And that's basically how the episode ends. Episode 9 is called Coming of Age, and it's Drake's sort of episode. Jimmy comes from a rich family, but they're never around because they're always working, and he always wants to spend time with Ashley because she has like a real family, and she gets that from that environment. he spends like so much time with Ashley that she becomes like annoyed by him. Like she's constantly coming home. She comes home to see him. At school she sees him and she gets annoyed. They're almost about to break up, but they don't, or do they? I don't know, whatever. And it would be Drake that treats a girl too nice. Is this the girl that Drake treated too nicely? Oh yeah, episode 11, it's pretty cringy. And also, they play dodgeball with one ball, whatever. Emma goes on a date, that's about it. And then we have we get a little bit more character from Sean in episode 14. I should just go through most of the episodes. Yeah, a lot of these are filler. Episode 14, Under Pressure, deals with Sean, and like he's under pressure, so obviously, yeah. It shows his unhappy life. He's about to fight Jimmy, aka Drake, because they've been building up to this the whole season, and they fight, but then Emma doesn't want to see her boyfriend fight. Oh yeah, they're dating. It's like, it's a season. I have to like glance through some of this. And in the fight, accidentally, Sean pushes Emma, and like she doesn't like that, obviously. And then like the fight kind of ends because of that. Drake, he runs around, he says he won, even though he was getting clapped up by a white boy. It's kind of tough scene. And that's a Drake thing to do, act like he took a dub, even though he just pushed his girl, even though he was getting clapped up. But anyways, season finale, jagged little pill. It kind of doesn't make sense, but here's what happens. Ashley's parents are leaving, and our two nerdy boys, JT and Toby, you remember the porn addict, the guy who watches porn with his homies. And yeah, anyways, Toby likes Emma, but Emma sort of not really with Sean, so melodrama ensues, and he sees this as an opportunity. But then his friend JT gets ecstasy from his cousin because it's the love pill. What? Kids are doing ecstasy in middle school in the 7th grade? Nah, bro, that's not happening. There's no way. No, what? I don't know. At least for me, the wildest thing that was happening, this kid got a hand job. I don't even think we were having sex back then, so it's pretty wild. But they tackled the taboo subjects. But then Sean, being the reformed good guy, oh yeah, Sean's a bad guy. He's like a bad boy. He has a jean jacket. Jean jacket and leather jacket. He's a bad boy. So Sean takes the pill away because they shouldn't be doing that, and gives it to Ashley because she just in the kitchen, and expects her to be responsible and throw it away, but with like very little motivation and like very, very little build up. It's like, screw it, I'm gonna do the pill. You could say that she saw herself as like this perfect girl and like very boring and safe, but like she's not really. I don't know, they didn't handle it that well. They hint at it, but like, all right, whatever, I'll run with it. And she invites Drake over, but Drake's a good guy, right? He's reformed. He did the pill earlier, but he learned his lesson, and he's like, no, don't do drugs, it's bad, and I don't want to be with you if you're gonna be high. She starts by like revealing her true feelings of everyone. She talks her shit. To Paige, the cheerleader girl. And it's pretty unrealistic. I don't think ecstasy does that, but whatever. But she's like really high now and horny. And then Sean just happens to be there in the bedroom. And they kiss, I think. Yeah, they kiss. Maybe a little bit more happens. I don't know. But this is a pretty melodramatic show, and like damn, like I don't know why they did it like this. I wanted to see them fight again, because Drake just kind of misses the fact that he walked out of her room, is more focused on Ashley rather than Sean. I wanted to see them fight. I want my melodrama to be mellow and really dramatic, but he leaves, and then eventually everyone just leaves, and that's pretty much the episode. Pretty disappointing ending to the first season. I mean, it's not the end of the show. I still haven't seen Drake in a wheelchair. Emma still doesn't like Sean, but she doesn't know what happens. I'm pretty sure they're gonna explore this in season 2. Also, at the end of the episode, from the little I know of ecstasy, it has like horrible hangovers. They didn't show that. They just showed that it like makes you talk to people. I don't know. It's a kids show. Leave me alone. Oh yeah, I want to add all these preteen, teenage sitcom shows or dramas have really good intros. This show has a horrible intro. Like the song is just trash. And then and the last frame is kind of wild. Like, why there? Why there? The phone can go anywhere. Why did the shot end there? Yo, you Canadians are sick. Like, you're sick in the head. Something not right with y'all. I know it seems like I don't like the show, but I actually like enjoyed it. Like looking back on it while editing, they do some pretty nice cinematography. Like there's some decent transitions, some pretty long shots. I didn't even notice. And there's occasionally like these stylistic things like zooms and funny sound effects. Like it's a pretty good show. It's pretty innovative. Like it's doing a lot of things that shows do now regularly. It's doing all that back in the day. So we've made it to the end of the season, and Drake still has knees and he's still walking. This is a problem. I am very upset he's not in a wheelchair yet, but should I continue watching this? Keep making videos on it? I saw like 2 or 3 episodes of season 2, so I could do another video until Drake is in a wheelchair. I don't know when it happens, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like. Remember, comment down below, subscribe, notifications on, all that stuff. Follow me on everything. Bye.